So this is a bumper case for the Moto Z2 Play. So the options for a case are limited because you put mods on the back of the phone. So a bumper case should work nicely. So you have the blank here, the cardboard mock-up of the actual phone there. And then this is the bumper case. So here we go. I have the Turbo Power battery pack mod on the back, so I'm just going to remove that. So let's take a look here and see how this case matches up. So on the sides here you have areas for the buttons. So hopefully they match up when this is put into place. You have the power button, you have the volume down, volume up. On the top there is a mic here, but there is no hole for the mic here. So that'll be interesting. You have the hole for the tool for the SIM card tray / SD card tray, and you have the hole here corresponding with that. Don't really need that. That could actually be covered up, and there should be a hole over here. On this side, it looks like there is nothing, and on the bottom, you have your headphone jack right there, which is not, there's no hole for it in the case. Not a big deal because I don't use the headphones anyway, and then the charging port there. So let's see how this fits in here. Should just fit in pretty easily. Okay. All right. So there we go. This came in white. I believe that was my only option. Not a big deal. I don't really care. I just want something to protect my phone. I have dropped this phone twice. Fortunately, nothing broke on it. I did have a little bit of a ding on the side of it when I did drop it. Both times it fell out of my pocket. So let's see if the buttons work. So we've got up volume, down volume, those work perfectly, and then we have the power button here. Everything works nicely. So in regard to the buttons, when I press them, the travel on the actual buttons themselves, you can actually feel it. It's a well-constructed area up here. I don't feel like I'm fighting anything. It feels like I'm getting a good register on these buttons here. So I'm only going to be able to tell about that mic situation when I'm actually talking on the phone, if it's going to affect the call quality. I will have to maybe even put a hole in there if it becomes a problem. Now, of course, the big question of the day is how this is going to affect the mods. So let's put the battery mod on. Everything is working nicely there. Battery mod fits on there. Color-wise, maybe I should have gone with a different color. The white maybe isn't my thing, but again, the main thing is that if this drops, you want to protect it, and you want to protect the glass, because it does put a space between the front glass and the end of the bumper here. You can probably see there's a slight lip there. So let's take a look at how this is going to affect the cord, if it's going to have any problems plugging it in. No, fits in very nicely. No problems there. Now, obviously, there are some mods that you are not going to be able to use with this. The game controller being one of them. So let's see how that's going to work. Let's get the, ooh, wow. So normally you have a spot here for your finger to get the mod out, but that is no longer there. So it might be more difficult to get the mod off. Might have to pull in the charging port here to kind of wedge it off. There we go. Okay. So let's see how this is going to affect the game dock. So there you go. It's not going to be able to fit in there because of the game controller is built to be a certain width here to accept the phone, and it's not going to accept the phone because of that extra space on there. So I have the JBL Sound Boost here. This dock, or this mod, I should say, should work. But let's see. There we go. Fits on there very nicely. Got some cat hair on there, and no problems there. So I can probably pull the dock off that way. Now the last one is the Folio Case. Now this Folio Case, I would imagine, is not going to work because, if I can get it open here, it's all magnetized closed. There we go. Because of the flap here. So let's see. It should fit on the back, but the flap will probably not flip over. There we go. It fits on the back. There we go. And it doesn't close because of that case there. So that's to be expected. I really don't use this much anymore. Primarily I use this here, so that's going to be a perfect fit for this. There we go. And the one thing I like is that it actually keeps the mod in place a little bit better than without the case on there. So there's no sliding around. I've had some issue lately with this power pack here where it's not reading on the phone, so I've cleaned the contacts on there, and the only way I can get it to properly function again is to plug in the mod itself, plug it into the wall while it's connected to the phone, and then it will recognize. Now I don't know if that's going to work here because it does look like it is obstructed here. So let's get that cord back out again. Doesn't really look like it's going to go in there. So if I do have future problems with the mod on the back, I will keep you posted. Of course, the beautiful thing about editing is that I'm going to use this for at least a week or so before I post this video to let you know, how this works, how, the durability on it. I might even do more than a week, but so far so good. It is what I expected. I knew some docks would not, or some mods would not work with it. It does look like it is going to offer some decent protection. So the case itself, or the bumper case, however you want to say it, is made from two materials. You have this white plastic, which is exposed down here, and it's a little harder here. And then you have this gel-like transparent part with the white plastic behind it. And it is still pretty durable, but it's a little bit softer than this white plastic here, as you might be able to hear the difference there. So I would expect this clear part to be more of a shock absorber, and then the white plastic is more for rigidity. But the clear part is not as soft as, say, a silicone case, but there is a little bit of a flex to it, but the case seems sturdy thus far. It does not add a lot of bulk to the phone. It fits nice. It is as I would expect in regards to how it's configured, and it seems like it goes with the phone pretty well, except maybe I should have gone with a darker color, but I really don't care too much. I'm more so concerned about just protecting the phone in case it falls out of my pocket again. So through the magic of editing, let's get my conclusion right now. So as you can see, it is now September 1st, the day I'm filming this and the day I'm going to be publishing this video. So I've been using this case for over a month now, better than a couple of weeks. So it gives me a real idea of the performance of this case in day-to-day use. So first thing is that, as we went over earlier in this video, there are certain ports on this phone that are covered, namely the headphone jack and the mic, the secondary mic that's up here. For some reason, they put a hole up here, and it doesn't even match up with the hole for the SIM card tray. So I don't know why they did that. Maybe this bumper case was made for another model of Moto phone, and there was something there, maybe the microphone there, I don't know. But this hole really doesn't do anything here. So they should have had a hole here. The good news is that I haven't had any noticeable difference in call quality. At least that's what everybody tells me when I'm speaking with them on the phone. So that's good. So I'm not going to have to put a hole in the top of the case here. Although, being that it is covered, it does probably lower the quality of the phone call, but it's not noticeable to anybody that I speak with. The headphone jack, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I do not use, so that's not a big deal. If you do use it, note that this bumper case is going to cover it up. And you do have an option if you want. If you're good with hand tools or something like that, you could measure it properly and maybe drill a hole through here. Although I wouldn't recommend it because you're going to take the rigidity out of the case, and some headphone jacks themselves might need a very large hole. So definitely I would not recommend it, but if you're willing to risk your case, it is a possibility. But again, I don't use the headphone jack anyway, so for me, that's just fine. Now you'll notice that the mod actually extends beyond the case, and that is by design, basically. If this case was not a bumper case and a regular case, then it would accommodate for the back. And you can get cases that accommodate for the back. However, they prohibit the use of mods on the back, and that kind of defeats the purpose of the phone, at least for somebody like me. That's the entire reason that I purchased this phone. So if you do drop this phone, the phone itself is protected. The glass is protected unless you drop it on a rock that hits the glass. But if you drop it on a flat surface, the bumper case is going to actually take the brunt of that damage. But just note that this case does not protect your mods on the back. So I actually did drop this phone, and I'm glad I did. I didn't do it on purpose. A Great Dane knocked this phone out of my hand, and the phone fell on pavement. It fell face first, and the only thing where it was a little bit damaged on the case was on this corner here. So it must have hit on this corner first and then fell down on the pavement. So you really can't tell. Like, I had to, as you probably noticed, I had to feel around for it. Over here, it's just a little bit scraped up, very little bit in this area here. And I think that's it. Maybe a little bit on this corner as well. So really, it was good that that happened, that Great Dane knocked it out of my hand, and that way I could report back to you how this performs. So it did what it was intended to do. It protected the phone. So that's good. Had it fallen on the back, it would not have protected the mod. But that's just the chance you take. That's pretty much table stakes when you get this phone. Because this phone, because of the different size of the mods, you really can't find a case that's going to protect those mods. So one thing I want to clear up that was probably not very clear at the beginning of this video, and I was editing this video just prior to filming this portion, and I realize it's probably not that clear, is that just prior to getting this bumper case, I was having some problems with this turbo power pack being recognized by the phone. So to further clarify, what I end up doing every night, I plug this phone in. And when you plug the phone in, it will charge the phone and the turbo power pack at the same time. Before I got this case, the turbo power pack again was having difficulty communicating with the phone, and the phone battery would run down, but the turbo power pack battery was still at 100%. So there were certain things I had to do. I wiggled it sometimes, and that would help. Removing the mod and then putting it back on, that sometimes helped. But the thing that always helped for some reason was plugging in the mod here while it was plugged into the phone, while it was attached to the phone. And for some reason, even though there was 100% battery left on this, for some reason that initiated the contact between the mod and the phone. So it was getting a little bit weird toward the end there, and there was a little bit of play here where it would kind of move back and forth. Not a lot, but a little bit. So the connection between the device and the mod was hit or miss, unfortunately. The great thing is that this case has solved all of that. I have not had that problem since putting this case on the phone, and I attribute that to the fact that the case holds the mod in perfect place. there's no movement on this mod anymore. So it has solved my problem, and I have not had to plug it in. And if you remember in the beginning part of this video, you really can't plug it in anyway. So it would have been a kind of an annoying situation where I'd have to move the bumper case to plug it in to initiate the contact between the mod and the phone. And had that been the case, I probably would not have kept the phone for much longer, because I do use the power pack quite a bit. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. If you like what you see, please subscribe. And as always, if you want to help out this channel, you can give me a thumbs up, you can favorite this video, you can share this video on your favorite social media, or you can actually join my Patreon, all of which is greatly appreciated. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.